Hello YouTube watch lovers, and this is the third episode in my discovery of a Grand Seiko. And Grand Seiko as a brand that probably can stand along with the popular Swiss watch brands. And I'm just happy that I can show you the small collection of, well, more dressy timepiece because of that crocodile strap, the leather strap on the Grand Seiko, the everyday wear tool, well, Explorer 1. It's a field watch and a diver, an Omega Seamaster 300 meters. So these were my last purchases. Well, I don't really count the Tudor Black Bay 58 with a blue dial here. I just don't want Omega to compete with anything else. But these three watches in everyday wear, how do they compare? How do they feel one next to another? So let us remove these watches not to complicate our view. The Rolex 39mm Explorer. I think that Rolex will return back to this 39mm case because it feels just perfect on wrists that are 18 centimeters circumference or larger. 36 feels a little bit smallish for me. 39 feels just perfect. So we are talking about Rolex Explorer 214270, the model number. Was discontinued as of April of this year, but still can be purchased from many well, flippers, I would say, because originally this watch retailed for 5,400 British pounds. Today you would have to spend on average of 7,500 pounds for this watch. Maybe the private sellers would charge slightly less, but the dealers would charge around 7,500 British pounds. And of course, for the resale value, Rolex beats anyone. Much better propositions, much better value retention than any other brands that I'll be talking about today. So the movement in this watch is the Rolex Caliber 4130 with a power reserve of 48 hours. They increased the power reserve in the new model, in the 36mm Explorer, but I will wait till they resurrect the 39mm case diameter with the upgraded movement. So this watch is the Rolex Superlative chronometer, and it really keeps perfect timing. Really, 3 weeks on, and I still don't see much difference with the original time that I've set on this watch. Really plus minus 2 seconds, but this can be negated through another day. Perfect timekeeping, perfect watch. So 39mm, it is the thinnest of the watches that I'm gonna show to you today. So the width on the wrist is only 11.4 millimeters, and the lug to lug distance is 45 millimeters. So perfect watch, perfect value retention. So you only can complain that these watches are not available in like you cannot just go and buy this watch. You have to wait on the list, and then it's really the play with the authorized distributors of Rolex. Really dislike the way that the distribution of these watches is done, because Rolex makes a lot of them, and well, but there is a demand for these watches, and so you have to wait. You cannot just go and buy this watch, otherwise you have to pay the premium which I went through with you just in a moment. But the Rolex Explorer is probably ideal for this daily wear tool watch, the mechanical watch, which is as good as any quartz watch for timekeeping. Perfect for a mechanical watch, and a perfect choice of an everyday watch, and probably my favorite watch. There are some more expensive in my collection, some chronographs which are probably more expensive than the Rolex Explorer. Still love this one. Just perfect tool watch, perfect day-to-day wear watch. Nothing even comes close to the Rolex Explorer. Okay, let us now go to an Omega. I think it is very unfortunate for Omega that their watches immediately come in comparison with the Rolexes. Because if there was no Submariner, this watch would be ideal. The Omega Seamaster, an ideal diver watch. Love this polar white dial. Maybe the idea was taken from Rolex, but combining this polar white dial with a black ceramic bezel, this is something that was expected from Rolex for the new Explorer too. But probably Omega have beaten Rolex for this idea of a black ceramic bezel with a white dial on this Seamaster diver 300 meters. So of the three watches that I'm gonna review today, this one is the biggest, with a case diameter of 42 millimeters, with a case width, well, which is significantly higher. This is almost approaching the 14 millimeter of the Grand Seiko. Well, 13.9, 13.8 millimeters, just below 14 millimeters in the case width. And the lug to lug distance is the longest for all the watches today at 49 millimeters, just below 50. But you see, it fits really well and sits really well on my 18 centimeter circumference wrist. Really like this watch. Really like the fact that it is bigger, more substantial, bigger than the Explorer, bigger than the Grand Seiko. Really legible. Really can read the time very easily. So what is the situation in the price range for the Omegas? So the retail price for this watch is £4,450, but I've shown to you that you can get these watches on significantly less on Chrono24. You can find deals between 3,500 and 3,800 British pounds for these watches, in perfect condition, in perfect, well, new, almost never been in use condition. This has a beautiful coaxial Omega 9900 movement. I will try to kind of show you the open case back of this watch. Really beautiful movement, fantastic execution, fantastic timekeeping. So over the last 3 weeks, this was, well, 0 seconds per day on average. Keeps fantastic time. Is very easy in use. Just throw it on the wrist, wear it for the day, put it on your nightstand, and pick it up first thing in the morning and continue wearing it. So once per month, well, once every other month, you will have to correct the date, and this is the good time to correct the time, to set up to the atomic clock. It is very good movement. Fantastic watch. love it. Definitely will have it in my collection. But if you were to put together the collection of the Rolex Explorer, which is fantastic on that oyster bracelet, and the Grand Seiko with its leather strap, probably the Omega should come with a rubber strap, and the rubber strap actually matches this dial much better than the stainless steel bracelet. And I said that I don't like the non-tapering bracelet of the Omega and this massive non-decorated clasp of the Omega Seamaster. Yet it is very, very good on the wrist, very good wear, very good everyday wear watch. Really like my Seamaster, definitely keeping it in my collection, wouldn't change it for anything. So the Grand Seiko now. Really can live up to the other two properly Swiss made watches, because this is made on artisanal level. So this makes a good difference to this collection, because you have the basic sports watch in the Explorer, you have the diver in the Omega, and you have a GMT complication on otherwise a very, very dressy watch on its leather strap, the Grand Seiko SBGM221. So the retail price from the Grand Seiko vendors here in the United Kingdom, £4,350, but I've shown to you that you can buy this watch from Japanese sellers on Chrono24, and with the customs tax it works out to be £3,115. So probably the best value of the watches that I'm showing to you today. So this watch has a beautifully decorated mechanical movement. So we're talking about the 9S66 caliber in the Grand Seiko. I hope that the camera shows off this watch and how well decorated is this movement. So hand decorated in the Grand Seiko studios, which were set up by Philippe Dufour, so nobody else but one of the top Swiss watch guys ever. So power reserve of this watch is 72 hours, so beats both the Rolex and the Omega watches. It has about +4 seconds per day in the timekeeping, so I could see that this gained about a minute over the last 3 weeks of wear. I don't think that any of my watches will have 3 weeks of consistent wear, that there will be much more rotation, and the timekeeping will be set up in less than 3 weeks time from one setup of the proper atomic time on the watch. So this lives up to my expectations for the chronometer type keeping. Power reserve is high on this watch. The case diameter is 39.5 millimeters. The case height is 14 millimeters, but I've shown to you at least one of these 14 millimeters is due to the sapphire, to the really boxed sapphire crystal, and this is not the, you don't feel this height of the sapphire when you're wearing the watch, when the watch is an everyday wear. So the lug to lug distance is the same as on the Rolex Explorer, 45 millimeters. So it's a very comfortable, sits very well. And as I've told you, probably I would prefer the Rolex Explorer on its original oyster bracelet. Maybe the Omega should change for the rubber strap, and the black rubber strap really matches this watch, really matches the Omega. But to tell you the truth, I have a beautiful base of my collection. I have this beautiful base of the everyday wear sports watches, and I really like them. I really like my base of my collection. You know that I have also some chronographs. I have my Black Bay 58s, which I just didn't bother taking out today, but it is getting on stronger and stronger, the collection. And I think that the Grand Seiko fits in perfectly as this everyday wear, more dressy type of, well, everyday wear watch. Okay, guys, if you liked and subscribed what I'm giving to you, if you like the watches that I'm showing to you, the comparisons that I'm making, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will think about what I'm gonna bring to you in the close future. So see you up until the next time. Bye.